Alright, what's going on, all my gamers, all my Genshin gamers? So it's the kid again. I wanted to talk about the Arlecchino quest, because I said that I would. I just got finished playing through it, and I was going to give my honest opinion at the end of the video, but it was like 2 hours in, because I did the whole thing all in one go. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it its own separate video, because I really wanted to talk about it, because I know going into it, a lot of the quest had mixed reviews. I saw Tectone talking about it. He said it was the worst thing he'd ever played. But I wanted to give my opinion on it, or I wanted to go into it with an open mind, you know, give it a fair chance. And I came out of it surprised, or not surprised. I came out of it pleasantly surprised, but also not gonna say that it was the best thing ever, because it still has its faults. So I want to go through some pros and my pros and cons with the quest, talk about that, and tell you guys what I really think about the quest, because, you know, I might as well tell you the truth. I'm not gonna be here, like a Reina using Wind God Fist, bro. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. So here's I'll just give my cons for my pros first. It really wasn't that bad. Now, I heard that it's the worst thing ever. It was this, it was that, it was that. I didn't really think it was that bad, to be completely honest. I thought it was an okay quest. It pretty much was just like any other character quest. I thought the premise was not that bad. The constant back and forth between you and Arlecchino was pretty fun, and one of the things that I really liked at the end was probably the fight. Although the only thing with the fight, this is one of the cons, is that it was way too easy. I used my Arlecchino, which is underleveled, and had no artifacts, or I had 2 missing artifacts, and I still was able to get to the fight through the fight pretty easily. But at the end of the fight and in between it, there were some pretty good animations. I thought the animations in this fight was pretty sick. Arlecchino, she uses her, like, I don't know what ability it is with her eyes, and it takes you into her domain, which is kind of like the Acheron thing, where she takes you into the black and where she takes you into the void, like the black and white void. Where hers is like a crimson reddish void. I thought that was pretty sick. I thought those animations were really cool. Also, I feel like Arlecchino actually is intimidating in this game, in this story, I should say. She actually is pretty intimidating when it comes to the story, when it comes to her actually knowing everything that's already happening. In the story, you try to deceive her, you try to buy time for Linny, Lynette, and Fremine to hide this kid, blah, 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 blah. You know, if you want to know the story, you can go ahead yourself. I'm not going to recap the story or anything like that, but she actually is always one step ahead of you, and unlike Yae Miku, I feel like this is done really well. I can actually believe that she is always one step ahead, and that she is basically just letting you distract her, blah blah blah. It seems it actually feels scary when she knows what you're doing and you're like, shit, all this was for nothing. She's just playing me like a fucking fiddle. I think that's pretty sick. I thought that was done really well, better than any other plot twists in Genshin. It was a plus for me. Also, this is a personal plus for me. I thought her voice actress has an amazing voice. I play it in English because I don't want to read. I am very lazy. I thought her English voice actress she had me going feral basically every other voice line. I just had to like sit there, grit my teeth, and hold my fucking nuts, trying not to bark every time she spoke, because I thought her voice was amazing, and every time she explained anything, I was locked in, bro. My ass was locked in, and I was paying attention. But another plus, speaking of speaking, there's actually some Lumine voice lines, which is a big gripe for me, is that Lumine never fucking talks. Yeah, the Traveler never talks, and it all has to be explained by Paimon, and it is really, really frustrating. Even now, like 3 years later, I think it's really stupid. I think Lumine should have more voice lines. That's who I picked. And I think that you should have more agency in talking, blah, blah, blah. You have like one voice line. It works out. I think it's fine. And then, you know, another positive is probably... So here's going to be a positive and a negative. Is that she is not as evil as, you know, people might think. She just really wants to look out for her kids, really wants to look out for the house of the hearth. And, you know, that's pretty admirable. It seems pretty cool. But at the same time, I feel like they should have made her more evil because she is a Fatui member. She is a harbinger. But they were just like, you know, she cares about her kids, blah, blah, blah. She's like Mr. T. She's for the kids. But that's just, I don't know. They end the story with a happy ending. They keep the kids alive that she was going to punish. In my opinion, it should have went darker, but I understand because it is Genshin, it isn't going to get that dark. Do I have any other pluses? I feel like all the storylines were wrapped up fine. The storylines weren't convoluted and weren't too crazy. As weird as that sounds. Everything wraps up pretty nice, and I'm not really left with any questions at the end of the story, except for things that are cliffhangers, which those are cool. They have to be in the game. But now I have some cons. The fight was piss easy. She seems so intimidating in the trailers, and it seems like it's gonna be like a fight for your life. Even at the end, you don't really beat her. She just kind of says, you know what, you did fine. I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna spare you guys. But the fight itself is piss easy. These fights need to be harder. This can't be like, they need to be like Adventurine, where they had to nerf Adventurine because he was that hard. This one was just, I died because I was not paying attention, because I didn't have to pay attention. I used my own Arlecchino and it was just that easy. She was also underleveled, no artifacts. I don't know, man. This game definitely needs to have harder bosses. And Arlecchino, I thought, would have been a harder boss, but she's not. Anyways, another con, which I heard Tecto talk about this, and it is absolutely true. The entire story, all of it, is spoiled in the trailers. I recognized the kid. I was like, I know who that is. She's already dead. She died because Arlecchino killed her. That's in the trailer. That's in I think that's in one trailer. The fight, although I will say that the fight being spoiled, I can't blame them. Though I know I would be upset if I didn't look at leaks earlier. I had it spoiled for me through leaks a lot earlier. So I'm not gonna fault him for that, but that is really fucking stupid. And I will say this. I think that this quest gets a lot of shit because it needed to be flawless. This quest is not flawless. The reason for that is because this is the only content in this patch. And this hasn't been any good patches since 4.2. So this had to be absolutely flawless. I think it seems a lot worse than it does because there's no content. If this had come out with an Archon quest, everyone would be like, you know what, that's cool. I think Zhongli's quest came out like that, if I'm not mistaken, where you had to go fight Azaha. I think it came out with an Archon quest. I don't really know, but there was content then. There's no content now. So this quest had to be amazing to live up to expectations, and this Genshin dried spell, I feel like, really fucked it. That's just my opinion. I think it would have been fine if there was like a Dainslift quest, if there was anything else, but on its own, it doesn't deliver in a way that it needed to. But it had everything stacked against it. You know what I'm saying? It felt like this quest came in trying to win a losing battle for trying to keep players happy. That's just what I think. And also, another con is Arlecchino is not as evil as we think. You know, she's not really a villain. She's just, you know, trying to keep the kids safe. I think that's fine. That's a good premise. It's not like whatever. I'm still on my fuck every Fatui, all the Harbingers have to see me at some point type shit. But it's getting harder and harder every time when it's just like, I mean, the Doctor himself, I doubt he's redeemable. It seems like the Rooster isn't redeemable, but like Arlecchino's redeemed, kinda. Child seems like whatever. You know, it just seems kind of weird. I mean, but they do have. I will give them that they still have the Doctor and everyone else. So, if they keep trying to humanize the Harbingers, it is kind of weird. That's just my opinion. I feel like people need to be evil in this game, and no one is evil. How do you feel like you're winning against evil if nobody's evil? It just feels weird. Another con, of course, Paimon is still in this game, so that is still going to be a con for me. Why is Paimon still in this game? Why does she talk every fucking time you need to talk? Why is there always still... Why is Paimon all of the dialogue for you? I feel like at this point, this isn't Saints Row. I don't want to hear myself talk once at the end of every quest like a fucking treat. Like if you ever played Saints Row, they used to do that for your character in Saints Row 1. It seemed like something that they're doing with Lumine, and it's super lame. And this is the other thing. Lumine has internal dialogue, which I feel like it takes me out every time of the story, because it's like dialogue. Lumine has an internal dialogue and nothing is said. It's just complete silence. Are you telling me that she had, I think, if I'm not wrong, if I'm wrong, correct me. I think she had 6 lines of internal dialogue. You're telling me that no one... She has voice lines later. You're telling me this couldn't be voice acted? I'll do it. I'll be Lumine's voice, and I'll voice act it, bro. They cannot have these dry ass voice lines for Lumine. Like, I need her to speak. At this point, it's really, really obnoxious. All right, that's just what I think. I think that this had too happy of an ending for a Fatui member, a Harbinger kind of ending. You know, they're just like, oh, you have to be punished as a child of the hearth. But you proved to me, and in the first place, I'm just gonna let you guys go anyways. Just gonna wipe your memory, so I technically killed you. I mean, sure, I guess. It just seems like it could have gone a darker route, and I would be like, oh shit, she's a Harbinger. This is getting wild. But nope, they're just like, all right, well, you guys saved the day. Good job. Okay, thanks, dude. I guess. And then here are two personal cons of mine. One is Child is in this story. God, I hate Child. Why is he still in this game? Please let me kill him. And then there's not enough Arlecchino ass shots. There needs to be more Arlecchino booty shots, bro. She is absolutely, she got me feral, bro. I'll say that, she got me feral. But those are my points on this Arlecchino quest. I knew that this was going to be a little bit longer, so I decided to make its own video. Anyways, I hope you guys liked it. Comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me if you liked Arlecchino's quest. Tell me how you feel about it. Anyways, comment, like, and subscribe, and I will catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.